Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Penda James, and I am the CEO of Inscribed Inspiration. What I do is I assist leaders in transition to get unstuck, execute their goals, and inscribe their legacy. If you are not familiar with me, that's what I do. And what you are watching is something that I've been calling the Resilience Project. My goal is to speak to at least 100 people that I care about or that someone that I care about cares about so that I can gather tools for resilience so that leaders can remember when they forget. Because I forgot in a season of my life to get back up.
Mhm.
Today, I'm just so excited to talk to my sister friend Shelly. So let me tell you about how we were connected. We connected over baseball and chicken wings.
Right.
So I don't even eat chicken anymore, but we have a very dear friend, Diana, who saw in us that we needed a respite. So she invited us to a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball game, and we sat in a box, which was like luxurious and awesome and
Yes.
wonderful. And we had sister time, and that moment was the foundation of our relationship.
Mhm.
So Shelly has our birthdays are 2 days apart. We're just, we've grown to be very close over the years, even though
Yes.
there's a span in age between us, but she's my sister and you can't do nothing about it, girl.
Mm-mm.
So she is a mom, she's a grandma, she's a dog mommy. She
Yes.
she helped me during a season when I wanted to create a safe space for my husband in his office, and she came over and helped me to organize that space and rearrange the atmosphere. So she's gifted in organization and all those kinds of awesome things that I hope that she will talk to you about today. And so my purpose is to introduce my friends to my friends so we can all do great work in the kingdom. And I hope that you go get your journals because I know Shelly's going to be dropping some wisdom nuggets for us today. Is
Yes.
there something that I did not say that you want the people to know about you?
You pretty much hit everything on the head. I am in school right now, trying to finish up doing a bachelor's in organizational leadership as well as bachelor's in HR. I will have a minor in psychology and a minor in management. So all four of those will be a good tool to do with my business. That is a new beginnings organizational consultant. That's who um, the business that I was able to LLC the beginning of this year. Um, and it's been a tough road, but it's been a good road.
Well, let's talk about two double majors and two double.
Yeah.
A double major and a double minor is like
Yes.
a major undertaking.
Yes. I didn't know. I didn't realize I was getting two majors until spring of last year, spring of this year. And I asked my student advisor, said, "Who did this to me?" She's like, "Well, we needed you to get the courses under your belt for the organizational leadership." So the HR made sense. But see, this is how God works because even though I wasn't thinking about being in HR, having an HR major will take me a long way with the organizational leadership. It will, it has opened my eyes to how organizations treat other people and where I work and how they are treating their employees. So
Mhm.
it's not been as hard as I thought it was before. Thinking on about it now, it's not that it hasn't been that hard. At the time, woo wee, because
Wow.
it was crazy. But when I think about it now, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was at that time.
Okay. So your declaration for today that what we're going to be discussing is
Mhm.
I am unpluckable. And so I see this beautiful shirt that you're wearing.
Yes,
Unpluckable me. It just makes me
yes.
so excited. So can
Mhm.
you talk a little bit about the whole unpluckable concept and define it
Um,
for us?
for me, unpluggable means not being able to be moved from a spot that you're supposed to be at. Unpluckable is something, and this is, I'm getting this because you had, with the book, you have a daisy on it. Every time I see a daisy, even in wintertime, when everything has fallen off in the season of uh things dying, I see a daisy sometimes
It's
in
a
my yard.
dandelion.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, dandelion. And I see it, and it's like, it's cold out here and it's wintertime. What are you doing? So it's a reminder it that it can go anywhere. Unpluckable doesn't mean that you have to stay in one place. Unpluckable means that yes, you have to be moved to another place, but you can still shine or shine brighter in that place.
So for those of you who don't know what unpluckable means, it essentially comes from John 10:28, where it says, nothing, Jesus said, nothing can pluck me out of God's hand, period.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was working for the local children's services in Allegheny County, I called home because I had had a really bad day. And usually my mom answered the phone, but my daddy answered the phone that day. And I told him, like, I went to this lady's house and she was just she slammed the door in my face. And I'm like crying and, just really talking to my dad. And I never really was that vulnerable with him because he'd
Mm-hmm.
like, stop that crying. And so that day, my dad said, he told me specifically what to do in order to get people to trust me out in the field. And he said, tulips are beautiful for 2 weeks and then they die. They come back. But dandelions are hard to kill. I
Mm.
need for you to dig your roots in deep and pop your babies up all over the yard. And that way, when people say anything about Penda James, they will say she was a good caseworker.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, I wrote the book, Girl Pray For Me. I actually have it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we had a retreat and
Oh my God.
Kelly Johnson actually came up with that slogan, Unpluckable Me, #Unpluckable Me. So I love when you said this is my declaration, I was so surprised like that you had internalized it in that way, which was my prayer in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see you, and hopefully with this next question, you'll talk a little bit about how you've been unpluckable over these past, well, your whole life, but over these past
Pretty
couple
much.
of years and months, especially. So I'm honored that you wanted this to be your declaration. So you're going to help me tell this story about being unpluckable. Because if
Okay.
anybody knows me, this is really something that I say all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I'm unpluckable. So
Mm-hmm.
how has being unpluckable been a thread throughout your life?
It's it's been a thread throughout my life because there's a lot that I've gone through. A lot of people don't know um all of what I went through. Um, when I was 9, we were living in Texas. I was born in Texas. Um, and I went through some situations that uh, no little girl should have went through. I'm not going to go into details on that one, but I think shortly thereafter is when I met Christ, and ever since then, I had a feeling of peace, knowing that I was safe in Jesus's arms, knowing that whatever happens, I could get through it. Um, the last few years have been rough. My mom passed in 2001. I lost my son in 2001. So it's been, I've had a pretty rough life, but you can't tell. Being unpluckable means that I know that there is no situation that can take me out of, like John 10:18, that 28 can take me out of God's hands. So, and I rely on that. I fall back on that. That's where my faith has grown from that. 2012, I had to stop. I had to quit Chatham. I was going there for interior architecture.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to be an architect. Even since when I was little, I've always wanted to be an architect. So I had to stop to go take care of my dad for the second time. And I left the September 2012. My dad passed in March 13th, 2013. I ended up in Texas because I didn't have a job in California. I could not find a job. And I had a lot of experience doing a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I just couldn't find a job. But again, God ordered my steps. I went to Texas, worked there for almost 2 years, and then came back because my aunt passed, so we had to take care of her estate. 2016 is when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then for some reason, 2016 was the pivot in how I looked at myself. I didn't have low self-esteem anymore. You would think that after a mastectomy where you don't have one breast and you had a reduction, that I would have low self-esteem. I did not. This is how God works. And this is why, even though I don't think about it all the time, every time I see a dandelion out in the yard, even in the wintertime, it reminds me of the retreat. It reminds me that I am unpluckable, that nothing, no matter what it is, can take me out of God's hands. Went through 4 surgeries in a period of 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just now getting beyond where I'm not hurting anymore. So, and it's 2016 was a shift for me. So that helped. Think remembering that I am unpluckable, increase my faith, increase my self-esteem, increase my wisdom as well.
I just needed to breathe in that moment because there are times when I wonder if these crazy ideas that I have to, I'm going to host a retreat and I'm going to do the, if it really,
Yeah.
With all the sacrifices that come with it, it's like, does it really matter? And then I hear your testimony and I'm like, God knew what he was doing because I created what I needed. So you talk about 2016 changing you. 2016 changed me too, because that's when I met grief. My mom she was diagnosed, I think in 2014 and then passed April 20th, 2016. And then everything changed for me after that.
Yeah.
So when I see you and I'm like, I know, you had lots of surgeries, lots of pain, dyeing your hair pink. You don't have your nails on today, but
no nails yet.
You just really went through, you made a statement for yourself. I am going to live and I'm going to live with full abundance because I'm unpluckable. Like you totally ran with it. And I can see how it has been a thread throughout your life. I mean, we talk about it, but in the context of like knowing that you're saying I'm unpluckable and hearing all the things that you've been through is a whole nother understanding of it.
Yeah.
That's awesome sauce. Anything you want to add about that?
No, just that I know that I'm going to continue to be unpluckable. This year, has shown me a lot as far as um, who I can trust, who I can talk to, who I can go to, and it's been an eye opener. But I'm taking that lesson and I'm going to run with it. Just like with Unpluckable Me, I'm going. This is going to be with me for the rest of my life because every time, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm sorry. Every time I see a dandelion, it reminds me of the retreat. It reminds me of the young ladies, and everything that we did mattered to me, and got into my spirit where I can identify with it.
Yeah. So we're talking about this retreat, but we didn't really talk about the retreat. In 2015, I hosted a retreat. Well, let me take a back step. 2012, I think, is when Girl Pray for Me became like a reality for me. And I invited, I think, 20 women to come to brunch
Mm-hmm.
and gave y'all this first draft of Girl Pray for Me. And then I was like, oh, we can't end here. And God said, okay, let's do a retreat. So we go to Jamonville,
Mm-hmm.
where there's God everywhere.
Right, right.
And we left a lot of our burdens on that
Mm-hmm.
mountain. So I'm deeply, deeply honored and humbled that God has used Unpluckable to help you get through this
Mm-hmm.
really challenging time. And I think the other thing, so I want to bring another layer of the dandelion piece for you, because I know it's challenging for you to ask for help.
Yeah. Oh,
So
you know me so well.
yeah, I know it's hard
It
for you to
is.
ask for help. You typically don't see, if you see a dandelion alone, there's one somewhere nearby.
Mm-hmm.
They grow in clusters, and
Mm.
they have really deep roots. So if you see one by itself, the roots are deep, and so it's connected somewhere.
Mm.
So I just want you to know that there's been times where it feels like, oh, I don't want to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. And so sometimes me having to push you, like, okay, just do it anyway,
Yeah.
and watch God surprise you, even though He
Yeah.
hasn't always done everything exactly the way we think.
Mm-hmm.
It's the baby steps. And so you've made a lot of baby steps in asking for help and being honest about, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's also a part of being unpluckable, and I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I want you to look at a leader, look in your camera, and talk to a leader, a woman or a man who is unpluckable, but they forgot because some of the weight of the world or of their circumstances is just heavy on them, and that's all they see.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them to remind them to get back up because they are unpluckable?
Um, just try to remember. It's easy to stay down. It's easy to wallow in self-pity sometimes, but know that it's um it's going to be okay. Have your moment, but get back up and know that God has put you in that position for a reason, whatever the position is. I tell people um, every day when all this started happening to me, I said, I woke up this morning. Everything else after that is a piece of cake because God knew that I could handle it. And I feel like that sometimes if you just remember that, just take 1 second at a time. Don't take the whole day, 1 second. Then when you get past that 1 second, 5 minutes at a time,
Mm.
15 minutes at a time. Take it as slow as you need to take it. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that because you're a leader or a first lady or a pastor or CEO, business owner, mother, father. Deal with what you're dealing with and feel what you're feeling, but keep it moving at the same time. Don't stop right there.
Mm. That's good advice. I hope that you wrote some of these reflections in your
Yes.
journal. You know, being unpluckable is a state of mind, and there's other words that come along with it. You know, I'm
Hmm.
resilient, I'm strong, you know, all these adjectives that do help us to stand on our 2 feet. I have faith, all these things, but that's
Hmm.
why we created the declarations for leaders and the Resilience Project, because some language speaks to different people.
Hmm.
And so thank you for making this declaration. I am
Yes.
unpluckable. Let me hear you say it one time.
Unpluckable me. I am unpluckable and will remain unpluckable. I will always be in God's hands. No matter what I do, no matter what anybody else does. I know that God has and is carrying me.
That is so awesome. Thank
Hmm.
you, Shelly, for sharing
Hmm.
your
Well,
heart.
thank you for interviewing me.
Anytime we're having a conversation, it's not really an interview. This is the real kind of conversations that we have
Yeah.
in real life.
Hmm.
So thank you for making our private conversation public, to people. This was important. It's important, and I never would have thought. That's why I was like, I'm so surprised you want that to be your declaration. I
Hmm.
am in a season, and this is what I haven't really been able to communicate. I'm in a season where the people that I'm talking to are giving me their declarations.
Mm.
So it started with like probably the first 30 declarations. When I thought about somebody, I automatically had a declaration in mind for them. And
Hmm.
I would call them or text them and say, hey, can I talk to you live? This is what I want to talk about. Oh my God, yes. And now
Mm.
it's them, it's me saying, oh, I want to talk to you, but I don't have a declaration. And now y'all are saying to me, this is what I want to talk about. And it's like, oh man.
Hmm.
And so what I'm saying is each of these declarations, I'm going to get to 100 and probably beyond. It's really resurrecting something inside of me.
Hmm.
It's just been parts of me that have been stagnant and sleep, and so it's resurrecting her. I'm coming
Yeah.
all the way back, you know, and
Yeah.
so you bringing me back to unpluckable me, and I am unpluckable is really God, because
Yeah.
um that was in a season of like God got me.
Hmm.
So yes.
Yes. Yeah. And
um
as long as you remember that, as long as you remember that, and as long as you don't allow anybody else to knock you off your game, God is going to work everything out. And I have to believe that.
yeah,
So once you believe that, it's like, okay, we it's going to be amazing.
it's really for me, like you said, 1 second at a time, 5 minutes at a time, 15 minutes
Hmm.
at a time. Sometimes I have to digest what I believe that way.
Hmm.
You know, I've come back to I am unpluckable and I am worthy, I am enough. Like these are all of these last declarations are things
Hmm.
that I wrote about. And
Hmm.
so it's like God is speaking them back to me through y'all. And
Hmm.
that's so awesome to me, because it is showing me that nothing that I have done over these past few years as part of my business and my ministry has been forgotten, or
Hmm.
is, you know, it's all worth something to somebody, and God is using me. Which I heard someone say, I think Bishop Carswell or Apostle Carswell, I've never met her before, but she
Hmm.
had this statement one time where she said, my purpose matters.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
that's what a confirmation. So thank you for reminding me that my purpose matters. And I'm like, we need to get some more shirts. I need to get back
Yeah.
to that. Sheesh. Your shirt is
Hmm.
all nice and mine is all
That's
messed up.
because I don't wear it all like that. And I don't know why I wore it that one time that you saw me and
Yeah.
you said, I want you to wear it, but then I'm not one to talk on a camera. I don't, but I'm like, it's time for me to get out of that shell.
Yes.
And it's time for me to step out of my comfort zone just a little bit. I try to not do too much because of school. School's important and I do have to focus on that. But next year I'll be done towards the end of next year and I only have 2 classes each semester.
Okay.
So I could do a little bit more. And I do want to end up being um a motivational speaker as well.
Well,
Don't know how I'm gonna get there, but okay.
this is your, I was just gonna say, this is your first opportunity. And when we come
Mhm.
offline, I'm gonna share some more tools for you to help you get there. Toastmasters is
Okay.
one way
Okay.
that you can get there. But this was really, really awesome.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I want you to come back and listen to this chat and share it,
Mhm.
with people that you care about so they can see this is your first stage as a motivational speaker.
Yes.
So I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. And
Thank you.
Shell
Bye.
will come back and put her contact information, Instagram, um, in the chat so you can get
Mhm.
connected to her. Have an awesome day.
Good
Love
night.
you.